depopulation, demilitarization, oil, Puerto Rico, Chicago, and pensions. A condition that will arise in the depopulated future will be too many foreign and domestic enemies, and too few soldiers to fight them. But wait, the future is now. In 1968, during the height of the Vietnam War, the U.S. active duty force reached just over 3.5 million. By 2014, that number had fallen to just over 1.3 million. Here is a report at historyandpieces.com. U.S. military personnel 1954 to 2014. Here are how the numbers of active duty military personnel have fluctuated over the past 60 years. The numbers for all services spiked in 1968 to 69 as U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War reached its peak. All dropped dramatically as that war drew down. But even the peak of the Vietnam War pales in comparison to World War II. In 1945, there were over 12 million active-duty military personnel. Repeat. In 1945, there were over 12 million active-duty military personnel. As of 2017, the number is slightly under 1.3 million active duty. This condition of too many foreign and domestic enemies, and too few warriors, meets the first principle of a superior enemy. It is far easier to have your adversary abort 1 million soldiers in the womb, than for the enemy to try and kill 10 million of the adversary's warriors on the battlefield. While the American public continues to believe the U.S. Census Bureaus and the UN population divisions claim that the world population is exploding, the depopulators continue to advance their agenda with absolutely no challenge or pushback. Here's a checklist of tactics they have successfully deployed, and some of the effects. 2008, bankrupt a large company. Casualty. Lehman Brothers Investment Bank, $691 billion. Check. 2013, bankrupt a large American city. Casualty. Detroit, Michigan, $20 billion. Check. 2016, collapse a large oil-producing nation. Casualty. Venezuela, sixth largest member of OPEC, $325 billion debt load. Check. 2017, bankrupt another U.S. city, state, or commonwealth. Casualty. Puerto Rico, $123 billion in bond and pension debt. Check. In 2017, successfully bankrupt another U.S. city, state, or commonwealth. Puerto Rico is the frightening ghost of Illinois' future. Puerto Rico is a worst-case example of what happens after the bills can no longer be paid. Next target. Chicago, $130 billion in unfunded pension obligations alone, plus billions more in retiree health care and other liabilities. The circumstances are different, but no government can function properly, indefinitely, under ever-rising debt. Eventually something gives. Illinois has no plan to reform the economy, to spur growth, and create more taxpayers. Hint. Stop aborting taxpayers in the womb. Where do you think they come from? Illinois status, pending. Moved to the watch list. A condition that will arise in the depopulated future will be too many oil producers, producing too much gasoline for far too few gasoline consumers. Too late. Spoke too soon. The future couldn't wait. This CNBC headline had fake from April 26, 2017. The oil market has one big problem: people aren't buying enough gas. Lackluster gasoline demand is once again raising concerns that the oil market won't be able to escape the doldrums. Demand for U.S. gasoline has recovered since January, but remained below 2016 levels throughout much of 2017, so far. Now, analysts are worried weak consumption will cause gasoline stockpiles to keep building and eventually result in weaker crude oil demand and pricing. Whether you believe the planet is becoming depopulated, or more people are becoming impoverished at a rapid rate, these are the only two conditions that best explain disappearing oil demand. Hastily committing to the wrong one will be a fatal error in judgment, from which we will not be able to recover. In a troubling sign, the nation's gasoline station operators have reported at industry conferences that their sales are down 1.5 to 2% this year. When you hear retailers telling you that their demand is down, you've got to be a believer. Here is a tip for oil futures analysts. Overlay a 50-year world population chart over a 50-year oil price per barrel chart. It will show that when world population was between 4 and 5 billion, the barrel price for oil was around $20, and pump price was around $1. Most oil producers' barrel break-even point is somewhere above $60. A barrel of crude is now selling below $50. What we have here is a classic standoff between downward population forces and upward market manipulation forces. Houston, we have a problem. Too many players on the field, and not enough field to play on. Time to eject someone.